We're going to talk a little Miami football. Carson Beck cleared to go. Let's get to work. Comes to the University of Georgia. You see the numbers all in front of you. And, of course, as you know, the Canes will open up with a team called the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Man, you better get a ticket because I'm just telling you right now, they're going to be sold out. They aren't already. And by the way, if you hear a scream from a couple hours ago, our next guest was fired up because the #1 recruit in the country decided to be a Cane. Coach, all days should be like that, right? Life is good.
Just keep working, man. Just keep working. Just keep pushing forward for progress, and certainly it's been a very productive day.
Carson, let's go. Oh, by the way, here we go. Look at this right here.
They got it on camera.
Look at this.
Yes. That's real excitement right there.
Coach, I got to tell you, I always thought, and again, I'm not a recruiting junkie, but I always thought you guys kind of knew ahead of time, whether it's the #1 recruit in the country or whatever, 4-star guy, that you have a pretty good handle that he's coming our way. But that's not the case, huh?
We're not allowed to talk about like recruiting and whatnot. You can only acknowledge that you are recruiting a certain prospect or whatnot. But again, a lot of momentum, with what's going on and whatnot, and certainly. Man, it's been an awesome day.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Carson Beck, let's go with quarterbacks. EJ knows all about this too, obviously. Physically, he's good to go. Sounds like he got the green light, ready to rock.
He did. He looks great. He's been throwing the ball and he looks normal. He looks even maybe better than normal. He feels like he's just about there. And we start our entire team workouts. We report on Sunday. We start on Monday. And he is clear to do everything. So exciting times for him and for our football team.
Excellent. I'm sure when you talk to Carson, you also probably mentioned your offensive line. I think that's one of the strong parts of your football team. He's going to be a good quarterback. You got running backs and all those types of things. Your defense is coming back. But the O-line, how important is that to you as a former offensive line, but also just for the framework of this football team?
Well, I think without it, you have no chance. I mean, an offensive line, a great offensive line always gives you a chance. If you have a great quarterback or great running backs, great receivers, you'll never get to see them play if quarterback doesn't have enough time or if they can't open holes for a guy. So I think Carson saw that in us as well and saw the opportunity to be able to be protected and play with some really high-level skilled players. So it's just a great marriage overall, and I think we're looking forward to getting a version of Carson where he wants to be part just of a great opportunity. He wants to certainly go out there and win, and he's done a great job with his teammates so far, getting to know them. He's really brought a lot of just really good vibe to Miami.
Coach, you've gotten better and better each and every year. It's all about improvement, step by step, the whole any other cliche you want to throw in there. What did you learn about your team, your staff, yourself, closing last year?
Yeah, we're capable of growth, and we've had a lot of growth in the past 3 years. And then all of a sudden, maybe we got ahead of schedule, and then at the end, disappointed and not being able to finish. But being in a position to win every game. And at the same time, lets you realize that the principles of football, they're always going to hold up, right? Blocking, tackling, securing the football, right? Finishing plays, being penalty-free, reigns supreme. And those are the things that we've been, hitting on really hard in spring ball. And also, of course, addressing the issues that we had on defense, starting with the hire of Corey Heatherman. And then just falling in line with all the principles of great defense, communication, playing with great physicality, great technique and fundamentals. So, again, the word progress has been used a lot by me because that's always been the goal. Just a steady progress and a really strong trajectory.
Well, progress is certainly there. You just had the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft in Cam Ward. How does that come up in these recruiting conversations? Is that something that these players will ask you about, or you mentioned, hey, man, by the way, we just
Well, the first thing I think of is if you would have come with me to FIU, you could have been the #1 overall pick also.
Yeah, okay.
I tried to tell you.
You did.
But, now you believe me.
Now you know.
Now you believe me. But, no, things like that, they validate your processes. Obviously, he was under a great coaching staff before coming to us, but he was missing some pieces. He could have certainly, we knew he could benefit from our scheme. We knew he could benefit from being around our players and being in the environment we'd provide for him. And he took it and ran, and he set a great example for our guys. I mean, he loves working, and he loves winning more than anything in the world. And he doesn't care about accolades, personal glory, and just a great example for our players.
Yeah, I was going to say, his mindset really kind of fit perfectly with what you're all
Have you seen carryover from that, though? Because that was something I noticed in the spring game last year. Yeah. Like his infectiousness of just that dog-eat-dog mentality, that alpha dog that we always talk about in football locker rooms. Have you seen carryover with this new regime of players feeling that same way, even though Cam is gone?
He's left a lasting impact, and he's raised the profile our program, our university. And what you saw on tape of him growing up, if he ever had a bad play, he followed up by, I'm going to kick your you-know-what for the rest of the game. And that's what you got from him during the year. And that just doesn't happen because a guy's upset or he wants to do well. That comes through just some real deal preparation, right? And preparing the guys around them as well. So tremendous impact. Certainly a guy we're gonna miss. We're gonna love watching him on Sundays.
Yeah, he's such an easy guy to root for. And even the NFL draft, when he got picked, there was no bling. It was just matter of fact, hey, this is a business decision.
He didn't care.
That's right. It was just like, let's get to work.
He
right?
wanted to find out what time he was going to get picked up and what time the plane was leaving so he could meet the entire organization, the staff, and get right to work.
Yeah, easy guy to root for, no doubt. Right. As far as business here the last 2 days, away from, again, we love talking football, but the business now of where we are in college sports. Did you gather anything the last 2 days? Did you say, hey, I really feel good about this, maybe as opposed to if I asked you 2 days ago?
I do. I feel really good about the caliber of professional in that room. Like, really impressed with, again, the type of coach that is representing each program in the ACC. A lot of experience both at the NFL level and the collegiate level, and some really strong recruiting classes. Right now, these recruiting classes are starting to be sophomores and juniors at several of these programs, and a lot of out-of-the-box conversations and thinking regarding the future of college football. Right, there's so many things that are always on the table. Right, NIL, transfer portal, inter-squad scrimmages, the calendar. Right, all these things. One thing affects the other, and if you don't think it through, you're changing things every single year. And we're trying to get to a point where the student athletes are in the best position to be successful, and that the coaches are in the best position to help them be as successful as they can be. So a lot of good dialogue. I think there's a lot of progress, and I think a lot of, I would say, uniform thinking by the end of it after discussion. So I think we'll see some progress from these meetings.
Coach, what do you think is the main issue in college sports right now? Like, what do you think needs to get fixed the fastest, or maybe the first thing that needs to get fixed?
Oh, man. Just the noise. Just get all the stuff out the way, and let's just play football, right? Let guys go to school. Let guys be college kids, right? Let them enjoy the process and get right after. I think we're taking the amateur model and trying to blend it with the professional model, and that's never worked. It's like you're one or the other. And trying to blend this thing requires a lot of figuring out, and that's why I think you see a lot of trial and error situations coming up year after year. So I think the effort's there by everybody. I think everybody wants to see college football in the best place possible. Certainly the viewership is, constantly going up. So there's a lot of positive things going on. But like anything else, if you want to be the best at what you do, you want to keep working at it. And I think everyone in the conference and in the country really is dedicated to making the game better.
I know you're going to probably answer this by going, Pack, it doesn't matter who we open up with because we got to get to work. It's all about us. But, man, pretty cool. Notre Dame.
It doesn't matter. We have a lot of – look, we had a great spring.
Yeah.
But anyone and everyone in this building and anywhere you go would be crazy to start talking opponents when we haven't even headed into the summer yet. We report on Sunday. It'll be a massive team meeting. They get to meet a couple of new teammates. And then some real hard work begins. And then come 2 weeks out before that game, then we'll focus. We'll switch our focus to that opponent.
Yeah, well, I'll ask, as far as just having a big game like that, I mean, the past couple of seasons, you guys had Florida last year. Yeah. Now, if you were to play Florida this year, and I know they're on your schedule, it'd probably be a different game because UF should be better. But as far as playing a team like that, those types of matchups, like, do you consider Miami needs to be and having those types of matchups every single season, almost like to start the year?
I think we do. We played A&M 2 years ago at home. We played Florida on the road this past year. We've got Notre Dame and Florida, this year. So Miami, it's always been a place you go to play in games like that. And the best part about that, it doesn't need to be mentioned in any team meeting or any type of team activity. Everybody knows what's on the calendar, right? And everybody knows that regardless of who's on the schedule, everybody has really good players. So you better prepare your butts off, because if not, you're not going to like the result.
The thing I like about you the most is the appreciation that hard work matters. And I think in some sense that's not necessarily looked upon sometimes. That people just assume there's shortcuts. I'm looking for the shortcut. Yeah. You were kind of like, hey, you know what? It's in the dirt, right? It's all in the dirt.
It all is. I mean, I had two unbelievable parents. My backstory. They didn't speak English, 2 jobs, night school, sent us to the high school coach, and that dude was a bad son of a gun, man. I mean, he was the best teacher and mentor you can have. So, we never had the help of we weren't silver spoon guys. Let's just say that we had to work really hard, and then awesome people granted us opportunities. So I'm like a forever grateful, lifelong learner type of servant, And because of that, we're going to preach the same stuff in that locker room, in those meeting rooms that we do at home. I wouldn't shortchange a single player, and I don't want my son ever shortchanged when he goes and plays for somebody. You know what I mean? So hard work and really good people, that's been an undefeated combination for as long as people have been around. So let's just work our tails off, do right by other people, impact others, and it'll work out.
And that's true for any profession, too.
Absolutely.
Works.
In life.
Yeah,
in life. But Ruben Bain, I wanted to ask about him. How was his spring? Is he healthy? How's he progressing throughout
He looks
the
great.
offseason?
Ruben was, we wanted to work with him. He wanted to get down to 275 because he had been going up to 85, 90. He's just naturally a large
Big guy,
human being,
Right.
big bone. I mean, he'll have a meal, he'll gain 10 pounds. And he's super explosive, and he wanted to increase everything from stamina, endurance, cut down his body fat. He was banged up last year, so people say his numbers decline. He just missed some time. I think we're beyond excited to see Ruben Bain. We feel he's one of the best players at any position in the country. He's excited to be around his teammates, fully healthy, and start these workouts. I can't wait for you guys to see a healthy, full throttle Ruben Bain.
When it comes to recruiting, because and I've told you this before, you're one of these guys that really loves it. It seems like it's in your DNA. Do you come up with creative stuff that you're like, maybe you read something or something hits a nerve, you go, what, I can incorporate that in my recruiting policy? Because I know that you're like, hey, man, it's all about doing the work, but you got so many advantages at Miami, it seems like, in terms of that city, the tradition, the history. Do you ever just come up with some crazy ideas, say, I want to incorporate that? Or I love that.
I come up with crazy ideas, but I can't use them legally by the NCAA, But I just, we're authentic, genuine people, and we have the opportunity of a lifetime. And you live down there. I mean, come on now. You go to Coral Gables, it's one of a kind, combined with all the other stuff. But we work at it really hard. The people in that building are all about trust and belief. And I think that, you know the old saying, there's no such thing as a hidden thought. You walk in the building, you could feel it from our people that it's climbing and it's gaining momentum. And so the energy is awesome. We finally got our facilities going, which is neat. We have been working in some outdated facilities for a long time. And so you start adding more and more things and building the momentum. I think that's it. There's nothing that I do. I listen to 80s music. No one likes that. I don't have jokes, so it's not like I can make someone laugh or, I'm part of a great staff, and we work really well together. I'm grateful for them because really a lot of times I got to go up there and receive, an award or praise, and it's really the staff working together, so I'm thankful for them.
Coach, have you seen a change in the thought process of these high school recruits, maybe in the last 10 years, because of the NIL, the transfer portal, and the ability? I'm sure some of these guys are 5-star and they probably signed to any school. Maybe in the back of their mind, they're like, hey, but if it doesn't work out in the first 6 months, I'm just going to go somewhere else. Do those kind of conversations come up? How are they now?
Everyone puts their best foot forward when they're trying to get a job,
sure,
right?
Of course.
And I think you see that a lot, but you go deep into it. And I think the best recruiting you could do is honest right at your recruiting, right? Because that connection has got to be deeper than, hey, how's it going? Hey, come play for us. You're awesome. Who wants to play for that? That's so superficial. It's got no substance, no value, right? So, yeah, I think we dig deep into that. We want guys we bring them to practice. That's the best thing we do. Because when you come to practice, you're either going to want to play for Miami,
right. Yeah,
or you're going to say, where's the Metro Rail?
Sure.
I want out, because we work really, really hard. We really get after it with intensity and passion, and nothing demeaning, but we get after it. And we are physical, and we believe in that physical model. That's been around for a long time. That model has stood the test of time. Coach Jimmy Johnson, Coach Saban, we took it out at Oregon, now we brought it to Miami.
That's
a really good model, And so you're either going to want to be part of it or not. And our players really, they kind of they meet the guys and they tell them what's on their mind and on their hearts. There's no
sugarcoating.
There's no script.
Mm-hmm.
There's no script there. And we don't want a script,
right.
Because if the foundation of this whole thing is not based on truth and honesty, it's not going to work. It's not. And if a guy really is not about that, it's going to be a horrible experience. So we want to make sure that it's a partnership. It's not about a verbal commitment. It's not about, just high fives and flipping on a hat. We want to make sure that this thing we're in, an ironclad and lockstep. We want to go forward through the ups and the downs that come with this. Those are the best stories and the best relationships at the end.
We had Narduzzi on a while ago, and I always like to talk about officials with him because he gets all wound up and fired up. Rule changes for the upcoming season. Anything jump off the page in terms of I think that's interesting, or this is going to be something we have to deal with?
I mean, you'll see coaches jumping off the sidelines. At official. Yeah, I mean, I think a couple guys made some great points that the differentiation in some of the NFL and college rules causes confusion. I mean, for players, for fans.
Even us as analysts, it does. Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So I think, again, that marriage has got to become more real. And, why would you not train them for the next level?
Right.
So there's some things, and probably the biggest thing is what's reviewable and what's not. So we tallied up a bunch of stuff and circling back tomorrow and seeing where some of these things land.
So, Coach, in the last 10 years, this is one of 2 10-win seasons that you guys have had there in Miami. Mm-hmm. What's the biggest key from this point moving forward into the offseason, then going into training camp to keep that edge where this doesn't dip below double-digit wins at University of Miami?
No, without a doubt. With us, it's all about progress and getting better. The hunger, the drive, and determination has got to be at an all-time high because we are not where we want to be yet, right? We started making progress. We were getting close, but we're not where we want to be. And that starts with accountability, right? And it starts with your guys on a daily basis understanding the importance of the word urgency. Every one of these coaches has really good players. Every one of these stadiums is really hard to play in. Brother, if you're not at your best, you're going to get your butt beat. And until you fully believe and understand that concept, you can never be a great football team. And we learned that last year the hard way towards the end of the season, okay, where we gave up control of our own destiny. So live and learn, go get better.
There you go. All right, we're going to let you get back to work. Always a pleasure having you on. Look forward to what the 25 Canes are going to look like. Again, that first game with Notre Dame was spectacular. Gators on there, too, and then the ACC race, and tag, you're it. So look forward to it.
Could have been first overall.
Could have been. Would have, could have. Would have, could have.
15 picks later, though.
Life's choices, you got to make sure you get them right.
all good.
Choices and decisions.